about time I said good morning. I'm having just the most fantastic time. It's about 9:30 and I've been here since quarter to 8. And I normally manage to miss the best of autumn. I was out last weekend and there wasn't a huge amount of colour at Padley. And everywhere around me at work, on the streets at home, there's these glorious autumn colours. When I come out here, oh, I can't get any. Oh, hang on a minute. Apparently I've forgotten to do something. Not go to work. So I've come out to, we're at the bottom of Surprise View. It's an old quarry area. I think it might be part of the Longshore estate, but I'm not sure. This is, I think, looking at the rear screen on the camera, I think these are my, not necessarily my best. Oh, actually, yes, they are. The best woodland shots I've got to date. We've got no fog, no mist, we've got a breeze. It's a little bit on the cool side, and we've got some light just coming through. We've got none of the low cloud or mist that they promised, but hey, you can't have everything. And I looked at the weather forecast and thought, oh, go on, just get out the house for a couple of hours. And I am so glad I did. I've just wandered along the path from where I've parked Maddie, and I've just stopped and looked. I've done no vlogging, done a little bit of B-roll, no pieces to camera. I've just been concentrating on looking around because woodland to me is still a mystery. And I look at the likes of Mally Davies and Jamie Overland and go, why can't I do that? And I know what part of it is. Part of it is when I edit, I tend to go for a dark edit. I've made a conscious decision today that these are going to be light and bright and airy. And I'm going to slap myself the minute I go for the dark slider on Photoshop. And I've just been looking around me. I've been looking backwards, up, that way, behind me, trying to pick out shapes in trees, rows of trees, little gnarly little trees. These are all silver birch, I believe. We've got a little bit of colour. And what I'm finding is the colour of the bark contrasts so beautifully with the kind of autumn colours. We've got a little bit of gold, we've got a little bit of pale green, a little bit of yellow, and the way the light's coming in is sort of making the background really, really soft, and it makes the silver trunks stand out beautifully. I've been looking for 3s, I've been looking for 5s, I've been looking just for 2s, shooting a lot in portrait orientation. This light is wonderful. These are not conditions I would normally come out in. You know me, I'm a sunrise and sunset kind of a girl. Don't like doing middle of the day, except when I'm at the coast and it's really gloomy. I'm shooting purely, solely with a 70 to 200. I've got no filters on, and I'm at f2.8. I love the f2.8 on this lens, even though we are on a hair trigger, because of all the sand in it. I've told you that before. I started off doing a couple of handheld shots when I had to ramp the ISO up because it was quite gloomy and overcast this morning. Just of a group of trees where the bark just jumped out and said, take a photo of me. I haven't deviated from those settings at all, to be fair. I'm shooting anywhere from a 60th of a second, in fact a 60th of a second seems to be my go-to. Yep, doesn't matter how far back I go, I've been shooting at a 60th of a second. And some of the images I've done, I've looked at and gone, nope, that one really doesn't work. And others I've looked at and gone, oh God, I don't really like that. We're now starting to get some light through the canopy. There's a beautiful, barely there tree just off to my left. And in the distance, there is a beautiful trunk in silver. In fact, it's so beautiful. I can see a square crop. It was just getting the light, and the light's coming and going, so we're going to zoom in 70 to 200. Can I actually see what I'm looking at? That's it, I'm quite a way off. It doesn't quite work landscape orientation, but I think it works portrait. It's picking up the light. I'm going to have to just check focus, because you only have to breathe on this lens and the focus disappears. It's fabulous. And so I came out with no preconceived ideas other than I wanted to get some images of trees with some autumn colour, and I didn't want to vlog. I didn't want to do pieces to camera. That's better. Now if the light would just come back, that'd be awesome. I'm faffing around for that long. I just wanted to take my time and concentrate on the woodland. And I think it's worked. Maybe I need to do more of that in future. Oh, there we go. Light's coming back. Take that. Yeah, that as a square crop I think will work nicely. I obviously don't have the right fingers for this. Yeah, it's a little bit abstract, but the light is amazing. So if you're struggling like I do with woodland, just get up and go for a wander. Don't worry about what images you're going to get. I sound like I know what I'm on about, don't I? Just go out, try and clear your head of any preconceived ideas. Preconceived ideas for me are fog, mist, snow. Other than that, I can't do woodland. I'm not very good at it in those conditions, but I'm a damn sight better than I am in these conditions, right up until today. So I'm going to carry on. Lawrence Field is at the top. I can't remember the name of this. Bowl Hill Quarry. Only there's another Bowl Hill Quarry, which isn't around here. So I'm not sure it's called Bowl Hill Quarry. I'm going up onto the top, which is a lot sparser than this. There's a lot more silver birch, but much less undergrowth, much less in the way of ferns. Maybe there's a lesson to be learnt. Maybe I shouldn't talk to you lot so much. Maybe I should just carry on and get my images and then do a piece to camera. Wow. I never thought I'd be standing in a woodland without fog, without snow, without mist going, wow. Right, I'm going to, there's a couple more things just moochings catching my eye here. And then I'm going to go for a mosey up there. And I've got very wet feet, by the way, because I didn't put my wellies on. Never mind. The trees have got the leaves on the tops rather than halfway up. But I'm still finding the odd one or two bits that have gone, oh, I like that. And I've even shot into the light. Get me. But what's caught my eye here is this sapling growing out the rock face. It's a little bit tricky to compose. I've had to do portrait, and it is a darker image than the rest that I've done, simply because that is the atmosphere that that sapling creates. The rock faces are quite dark. I've composed it so it is, I'm just getting in the bottom of it, just getting in the top of it. There's a little bit of greenery coming in across the top. I can't get rid of that, but I've made it so that I'm getting the very top leaves into shot. This tut here is a fallen branch. I have tried to move it, but it's attached. So there's a smidge of cloning to do, bottom right hand corner. And a couple of times the light's just come in and illuminated it, which has darkened the background. Again, I'm shooting f2.8, so that's helped to darken the background, but it's still leaving enough detail that you can see it's actually clinging to a rock face. Love that. A little bit different to everything else I've been shooting this morning, and I've got very wet feet. I think trench foot is close to setting in. So yes, and I thought I ought to really talk to you. I've been out and about for, I don't know, 4 hours, and I haven't really spoken to you. The wind is picking up here. I was quite sheltered down the bottom, but I thought it's worth a try. I've bumped the ISO up, I think we're at about 600 ISO, just to try and freeze the motion of the leaves. I didn't want blur in the leaves. There's some gorgeous colour up there, but you can't get high enough, you need a drone. And I'm now going to carry on wandering back along the top. The light is now much harsher than it was this morning, obviously. We've got a bit more cloud cover coming in, but we have got some quite blue sky up there. I'm getting some nice backlight, which works really well. Again, not something I normally do. So yes, this vlog is going to be barely a vlog. There's going to be lots of images and very little of me. Rocking. Right, let's go see what else we can find on the way back to Maddie. I'm having one of those mornings where I just don't want to stop. And I need to stop because it's 12 o'clock, I haven't had any breakfast and I'm starving. I am slowly making my way back to Maddie. I'm coming up the top path, so the trees are a lot sparser here. The sun is coming in there and I can almost hear people screaming at me, look at the vista and the light in the distance and the lovely fluffy clouds. I'm like, yeah. I had thought of that myself when I saw the vista with the clouds and the trees. But I'm here to shoot trees. And I'm trying to improve my woodland tree photography. What's caught my eye as I've walked back up, amongst other things, in the distance there is what I'm fairly certain is a silver birch. It's massive. Part of the trunk is a silvery grey and part of it is beautifully black. It's got enough leaves left on it, it's got enough foliage left on it, that it sort of looks like a waterfall. And I've zoomed in as close as I can get on the 70-200 and I'm still going to have to crop it slightly. I'm thinking either a 10x12 or a square crop. And as the light hits it, the contrast between the golden leaves and the black bark is phenomenal. This has to be one of the best mornings I've ever had. Other than when I'm at the coast. Because nothing beats being at the coast. I never thought I'd have a morning like this out in the woods. There's a couple, there's one to the right and there's one to the left. The one on the right, oh, excuse me, it's a tad windy. The one on the right hasn't quite got the colour in the leaves, but the one on the left has. But they both make beautiful abstracts. You can see it's a tree, but I've not left any of the surrounds in. None of the scenery, none of the backdrop of the hills. None of the clouds. I've just zoomed in as close as I can get. Oh, I need to explore this area more, probably in readiness for next year, because when I walked this morning, there's an obvious piece along the bottom, maybe a path, I don't know how you get to it, but that looks amazing as well. But I've had such fun just doing this. It's wonderful. As I say, I'm still shooting at f2.8. I still haven't got my polarizer on. I still haven't got any filters on. I've just got the lens hood. f2.8, checking my focus every time. Picking out abstracts. Sometimes I've been picking out 2s and 3s. But this is the best autumn day I've ever had. And it'll still not be a patch on the likes of blinking Mally Davis and Jamie Overland, because they live, eat and breathe woodland. I do it as a change of scenery and a break from coastal work. But I can see me getting seriously addicted to days like this. Thanks for putting up with me on this one. Not my usual every 30 seconds we're going to have a knitter natter. Just a little bit of B-roll, lots of images, and a little bit of me waffling. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it maybe gives you some inspiration to get out and see what you can do. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Toodaloo!